Begin this hour on Capitol Hill for day 3 of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's Supreme Court nomination hearing.
That's right. Judge Jackson is in the hot seat, fielding a second round of questions from senators on the Judiciary Committee. Republican senators are attempting to shape the narrative that Judge Jackson's record shows she is soft on crime, and if appointed, she would serve as an activist judge on the nation's highest court. At the start of the day, Judge Jackson defended the judicial process and the importance of the Constitution.
As a lawyer and a citizen, believe very strongly in our Constitution and the rights that make us free. And what that means to me is an understanding that although we need accountability, although there is crime, we also have a society that ensures that people who have been accused of criminal behavior are treated fairly. That is what our Constitution requires. That is what makes our system so exceptional.
CBS News chief legal correspondent Jan Crawford joins us now for more. Jan, hi, great to see you. So Senate Judiciary Chairman Dick Durbin started the day apologizing to Judge Jackson, saying her nomination, quote, turned out being a testing ground for conspiracy theories and culture war theories that lit up social media. Tell us how Republicans are looking to shape the public opinion of President Biden's pick for the Supreme Court.
Well, I think that not only are they trying to shape public opinion of Judge Jackson, they're also trying to kind of shape public opinion about themselves, because there are a certain number of Republican senators on this committee who have higher political aspirations. So this is a moment for them to kind of hit on some of these hot-button social issues, just like Democratic senators did when conservative Republican nominees were sitting in front of them. So they're really speaking out against Judge Jackson, but trying to appeal to their base and try to build up some more of that political support. You saw a number of those issues, whether it was critical race theory that we heard from, say, Senator Cruz yesterday, to this whole line of questioning that she's whether she's soft on sentencing child pornography offenders, allegations that I think have been pretty well repudiated, including by some conservatives who oppose Judge Jackson, to say this is just a bogus topic, that her sentencing was no different than that of most federal judges, and she's following, kind of the restrictions and the constraints are in front of her, and then taking the guidelines and using those to try to determine which offenders are the most culpable and therefore get the most punishment. So there was some suggestion last night that the Republicans needed to move on from that and just focus more generally on the idea that she's soft on crime. But as we just saw there with Senator Graham, he obviously didn't get that memo. They are still continuing to hammer her on this issue, even though it's a pretty thin read, I think.
And Jan, I mean, they all, whatever they were raising in terms of issues, they took the gloves off before they did, as you're just describing. So I know we were just looking at Senator Graham. Do you have any sense if they will continue sort of swinging away, or do you expect some sort of moderation in tone from the Republican senators who are questioning her?
I think you have to look at, that's a great question, and I think we kind of have to look at where the senators are in terms of their political careers or what their aspirations are. I thought that Senator Tillis from North Carolina this morning had a more kind of civil exchange with her and seemed to be genuinely asking her, what were her views on certain issues, and saying, I'm not a lawyer, I watch Law and Order, but, can you explain this to me? And that actually was, I thought, a good exchange. We've seen the Democrats continue to do what they've done very effectively, starting yesterday, of using their time to kind of draw out more of her life story and her family's experiences, and then give her that extra time to continue to rebut some of these arguments that the Republicans are making. I think Democrats are being very effective in giving her that platform to kind of show who she is and rebut what she's hearing and the questions she's getting from the Republicans.
Jan Crawford, thanks so much. We'll be checking in with you again as hearings continue.